Coming to you today again with pie crust, and I'm going to name this one Redemption Pie Crust. I have 1.5 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt in here, per my recipe as before. Half a cup of cold Crisco going in. One thing I did not say before, it is important to use Crisco specifically when making this pie crust. This particular one. I have tried, since it has to be cold, like I have bought Aldi's brand and that has worked out okay for me, but I have tried Walmart brand and I don't remember exactly what it's called, Great Value something or another, and whenever you put it into the refrigerator, like you can't even scoop it out of the container. It is like rock solid, and that pie crust almost made me cry because it would not work. The Crisco would not work into the dough. So what we're doing here is working this in with a pastry cutter, working the Crisco into the flour and the salt mixture. We want it to resemble coarse breadcrumbs, and I will show you what that looks like once I get it all worked in. Whatever is left of this dough today, I will wrap up again in, I use that, it's like really super sticky saran wrap. I don't know what you call it. I can't get regular saran wrap to work, like almost ever. I really struggle with it. In my experience, it only wants to stick on certain things, so I will use this cling wrap and wrap up whatever's left into a disc, as I call it, put it in a freezer safe bag, and freeze it. Okay, we are making a pot pie again today. I don't know if I told you that. See how it looks like coarse breadcrumbs? Okay, now you need a spoon. We are going to add ice cold water, 1 tablespoon at a time, while stirring. Gage, you want to come closer so they can see this going in? So don't put the ice cubes in, just the water, 1 spoonful at a time. You can see that looks like breadcrumbs. As you add 1 spoonful of water at a time, the dough will start to pull together and it will eventually form a ball. Now my mother-in-law is very, very good at this, and a lot of the time she can do it with exactly 4 tablespoons of water. I have been able to do it with 4 some of the time. Some of the time I have to do 5 or 6. I'm not quite as skilled at making pie crust as her. So we'll see if I can do it today with 4. It is starting to come together a little, but it is not as wet as I would like to see it. So I'm going to add number 4, being careful just to get the cold water and not the ice cubes. I'm going to continue to stir. It is becoming wetter and it's starting to form into dough. Okay, I'm going to do 5. I'm going to see where that gets me. It is important to have your Crisco cold and your ice water. Obviously it's ice water, you want it cold. Okay, do you see how that's forming into a ball? 5 is going to do it for me. So I'm going to set that to the side. Again, as before, I'm going to make 1 large ball, and I'm going to split it into 2 sections. Making pie crust for me is very fun. It can be a little messy because you put some flour on the counter, but that is no mountain for a climber. Okay, 2 balls. This one feels heavier. I'm going to go with this one. Make it into a disc. Be careful not to overwork it because you'll heat it up and you just spend a lot of effort getting it cold, right? With the cold Crisco and the ice water. So throw some flour down. Flour the top. Flour your rolling pin. This is going to be my bottom crust. So I'm going back and forth, trying to keep a circular shape with my dough. I don't know if you can tell, but I can already tell this dough is making much better than the last one I tried to show you that I had too wet. I'm still not exactly sure what happened to that one. My best guess is that I mounded too much Crisco and didn't do an even scoop. So this time, I was sure to measure everything out spot on as best as I could with even scoops. So your goal with the pie crust is to get it large enough to go around the pot pie, bottom of the pan. You will remember last time that I made the pot pie, I was using leftover pie dough that I had in my freezer. This time I'm using fresh pie dough. You can see how easily it's rolling out. It's doing a good job. Now we're going to cross our fingers, hope and pray that it pulls up. Okay, now watch how I do this. I'm going to come close, Mr. Cameraman. I'm going to roll it around my rolling pin. Did you see that? I'm going to take my pie pan. It's important for me to always put the pan underneath it. This prevents a mess in the oven. In my experience, my pot pie usually bubbles over. Okay, I'm going to unroll this in my pie pan. 1, 2, woo, hold on. 1, 2, 3. That wasn't as I was hoping it would be. That's okay. I probably should have had a little closer. We can patch it and repair it anywhere that it might tear. No worries. Nobody will ever know that this is not a perfect dough. I'm not gonna tear all the edges off yet. I'm gonna see what my top looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the top out. Putting my flour back down, I'm gonna add just a little extra, okay? Because we don't want this dough to stick to the counter. Making another disc. This is the top crust. Flour your pin so it doesn't stick. I showed you this last time. This rolling pin actually spins, it pivots. I like that very much. I've never actually used one that doesn't spin or pivot, but those kind, like you have to do this, and I don't know, I've never had a desire to try one of those. They may work even better than these. If you make homemade pie crust, I'm curious to know what kind of rolling pin that you use. Another thing on this pie crust, I've made pie before, apple pie. And hold on, come back, mister. I've made apple pie, and you can add stuff into your pie crust. So I added shredded cheddar cheese. That was very good. I may have also put coarse black pepper in it, because I like black pepper. Cheese and apples go well together, so I thought that would be a good combination. But my husband told me not to mess with success. He said, go back to your regular pie crust, don't do that again. So that was code for, I don't like this. As well as regular pie crust. And this regular pie crust is super duper good. Okay, so we're going to roll it up on our pan as before. There's a few little pieces coming apart. That's okay, we'll fix it. All right, pot pie filling. It is done. We have already cooked our pot pie. I am going to dump this in my bottom crust. Today I added dried celery leaves. My sister-in-law Debbie brought this to me on Saturday whenever she came for Father's Day. It smells like heaven. I have never cooked with it before. I mean, I cook with celery, but I have never cooked with a dry herb of celery leaves. So I put them in my pot pie. I actually like celery in a lot of different stuff, and I didn't have any, so I'm very excited to try it. She said that it could be potent, so I just pinched some into my recipe and sprinkled it throughout, and then of course just stirred it in. Look at that filling, guys. I said this last time, I'll say it again. You cannot get a pot pie like this at the grocery store. We love the little banquet pot pies, absolutely love them, but you can, I mean, seriously, this will feed all 4 of us. We might have a piece or 2 left, might, that's a maybe. Do you see how full this is? This is one reason I always put a pan underneath, because this probably, more than likely, will bubble over. Okay, so we're going to unroll this top crust. I had a little piece here come off. I'm just going to patch it. It's not going to be perfect. I have never, ever, ever had a pie crust be perfect for me. But they always taste good. Now this is not my regular metal pie plate, so I cannot pinch the edges like I normally would do. Last time I just kind of folded and flipped over. You'll remember with my used pie crust that I did that. But this time I'm going to trim away the excess. I'm just going to put it in a little pile, see if I think I have enough to freeze. And I will make maybe a pumpkin pie with it, or pecan pie. This might be enough to do a bottom shell. In my experience, it usually rolls out better for me after I've frozen it, as far as being a little more pliable. Did I miss some? Yeah. Thank you, babe. My little cameraman, Mr. Gage, showed me that I was missing some. I'm glad he did. All right, look at that beauty. I'm going to put this in the oven, 400 degrees, bake it 40 to 60 minutes, and then I'm just going to shut the oven off and leave it in because Randall will be home from work about 4:45 or 5 o'clock. We'll go for a walk, and whenever we get back, we will eat this pot pie, probably with a side of green beans. And I will show you a finished picture of the product. I just want to say, I feel like I earned myself a little bit of redemption with this pie crust. I feel like it is much prettier, it was much better of an experience, so I am naming this the Redemption Pot Pie, Redemption Pie Crust. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, the pot pie is done. What I'm going to do is just gonna pull it out, show it to you. You can see all that steam coming off of it. It's this beautiful golden brown. Look how flaky and delicious that looks. The best I can tell, it actually did not bubble over today, so that is awesome. But isn't that beautiful? So beautiful. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna leave it in the oven. I'm gonna shut the oven off and we'll wait for Randall to get home, and then we'll enjoy some supper.